Oh, like the Ak is saying, man, I mean, you gotta have some feeling gotta go through you before you sign this joint. You gotta know if it's wrong. You gotta know, but like I said, we got mad dudes approaching us with this thing. And that's the only reason why we speaking out about it right now. So nobody don't come back to us with it. We putting it to arrest. Don't come to us with it. If you gonna do it, do it. But we don't want no parts of it.
None whatsoever. And in sincere love, we putting this out because we thought, being humbly put, we thought that this was Hebrew 101. I can attest for myself, when the elder that brought me into the truth, he thoroughly instructed me into this thing. So I thought that this was Hebrew 101, basically. You know what I'm saying? So this is not to knock anybody. This is not to put anybody on blast. It's only to edify. You know what I'm saying? All we asking is that you get into the reference material, study this stuff, and hit the scripts, man. We have no business dealing with this beast at all. Let's get it. Let's get into the prohibition. This is what you can not do once you sign on to the 501c3. You cannot come in and say, well, yo, we're gonna act like we're just gonna give a soft message, then we're gonna flip it. You can't do that. Because there are stipulations, there's fines, and you will end up locked up messing with these folks when you sign this covenant with them and try to violate. You shouldn't even do it like that anyway. If you're sincere about the Most High, hit the streets, hit the YouTube, internet, whatever you choose to bring forth the truth. The Most High will bring the increase. We don't need the beast to help us with that.
Exactly.
Let's get it. Let's get the first prohibition. Read the top to introduce it to them.
It says, according to the IRS 501c3, Christian churches, ministers, and organizations
So
may...
Christian churches, organizations, whatever your organization is. So this goes for us Israelites as well. If you want to go on record and claim to be an organization under this is talking to you.
may not do the following.
You may not do the following.
Expose conspiracies.
Wait a minute. That's one of the first things that we learn. Once you find out you Israel, you start getting some understanding about conspiracies. Some of us came before we knew we was Israel, was starting to get groomed in the conspiratorial aspect of the world rulership. They telling you the first thing you cannot do is expose conspiracies.
What it said in Ezekiel, there's a conspiracy of her prophets.
prophets. But they don't want this exposed. Read the second joint.
Second joint is, you cannot criticize the New World Order.
Wait a minute. Once again, these are things that we all as Israelites have studied. So how can you claim that you serve the Most High, that you're going to go up and wake the people up, but you can't bring forth the fact of the matter that the New World Order is on the horizon? Wait a minute, brother. This thing ain't right. Read the third joint.
You cannot say or publish anything negative about any politician, Republican or Democrat.
So both parties, you can't speak negative against no politician, none whatsoever. And we know that these politicians are completely wicked. The majority of them are Masonic or in some type of secret fraternity. They're dealing directly with the adversary.
Right.
But by this, you can't even expose that. You got something you want to add?
We good.
Go ahead, brother.
Number 4, you cannot criticize government agencies and bureaus, the IRS.
The IRS, first and foremost, the one that gives you this status.
FBI.
The FBI. And we know that the FBI has systematically, Edgar Hoover and all the way down the line, they have systematically made war against the so-called Negro, the true Israelite man, under COINTELPRO and so on and so forth. They brought down the Panthers. They secretly murdered Martin. They secretly murdered Malcolm. So on and so forth. But you can't even criticize this. You can't even bring this type of information up to edify your people. How can you sleep at night being an Israelite man, knowing the truth, and not do these things? For fringe benefit? Come on. Read the 5th joint.
You may not criticize an institution of government such as the White House.
Oh my gosh, you cannot criticize the White House, the very seat of wickedness.
The Congress, the Federal Reserve Board.
The Federal Reserve Board. Come on, man. You can't criticize the Federal Reserve. Mr. Ben Bernanke. Oh my gosh, man. The very seat of power that is pulling the strings of the monetary system in this world. You can't criticize that. They got us all out here poor. From Israel all the way down the line. Come on, man.
The Federal Reserve Board, even though this is a private corporation.
And this is a private corporation. We all knew that. When you come into the game, you study conspiracies, and that's one of the biggest conspiracies you find out. The Federal Reserve is not really federal. It's private. Ran by the elite.
Or the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court. Golly. Read on, brother.
Number 7, you may not criticize any proposed or pending bill or legislation that would take away the rights and freedoms of the people.
What? Man, wait a minute. Read that from the top.
You may not criticize any proposed or pending bill of legislation that would take away the rights and freedoms of the people.
So wait a minute. If it's a law, it's already on the books. They telling you, you can't even criticize something that's pending, meaning it ain't went through the congressional system. It has not been passed yet. Meaning it could be completely wicked. They could be passed. The mark of the beast out next week. But right. You can't come out and say nothing about it. Wake up, Israel. Read.
Number 8. You may not make disparaging remarks about or criticize any other faith group, cult, or religion.
Wait a minute. That sounds like New World Order-ism. We can't speak against Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, New Age-ism, or whatever ism there is. You can't speak against that. Even though we know that these people are complete idolaters according to Scripture. So we can't turn our people. You can't tell Jake about their sin.
Right.
How in the world can you sign on to this, man? And we only in the beginning.
Right.
Read on, brother.
Or criticize any other faith group or religion. This is number 9. You may not expose or criticize the New Age movement.
What in the world? The New Age movement is grooming the world to bring forth the anti-Messiah. And you mean to tell me we cannot criticize that none whatsoever? We got to wake up, Israel. We have to wake up. There's no need for us to sign on to this bill. There's no need for you to seek fringe benefits from a system that is totally against the Most High. The New Age movement is teaching the very lie that was told by the serpent in the beginning, that you are a god.
Right.
But you cannot criticize this thing.
Number 10, you may not support or encourage a law-abiding citizens' militia, even though this is constitutional.
So guess what? The United States Constitution says that you can have a well-regulated militia to fight against foreign and domestic terrorists. Those people that are in the White House now, they're domestic terrorists. You should have a militia to be able to protect yourself when the government gets too big and decides to come against the people. But you can't come, according to this, you cannot support that. Shows you what time it is. Read 11, and we're going to get a scripture.
Number 11, you may not support or encourage the Second Amendment, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms.
Oh my gosh. That is a basic. You can't even come, you can't Tell the people they have the right to stand for themselves and defend themselves. When these people come black boot down in our doors and what have you, they want you to just go like sheep and cattle to the slaughterhouse. Let's get some scripture. Let's go to Ephesians 5. And we'll pick it up at verse 11. Because so far we've been told what, if you sign on to a 501c3, what you cannot do. Let's see what the scriptures tell us to do.
Ephesians 5 and what?
5 and 11.
Ephesians 5 and 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Rather what?
Rather expose them.
So this is what we are commanded to do by scripture. Have no fellowship, covenant, league,
agreement
with this system, but rather expose them. We are to expose the hidden works of Ha-Shaytan that's being carried forth by this government, by all of its agencies, all of its political system, all of its religious system. We are to expose them. You are handicapped when you sign that 501c3 from bringing forth the truth of the Most High. Read verse 11, brother. I'm sorry, read verse 12.
For it is a shame.
It is a what?
For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
It's a shame. Once again, the first thing it told you, don't expose conspiracies. You can't go into what they do at the Bohemian Group. You can't go into what they do at the Bilderberg meetings. You can't do all of these things according to the 501c3. But what these people are doing is a complete shame according to Scripture. Bowing down to Satan himself. Read verse 13, bro.
But all things that are reproved or exposed are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doeth make it manifest is light.
So we're supposed to be the children of the light, which is in Hamashiach and the law, statutes, and commandments. So we're supposed to use these tools, the word of the Most High, to expose all of this. Got anything you want to add?
Exactly. I mean, this is our job. It's a light thing to bring Jacob back. And we got to show him the truth. Like you said, we was all into conspiracies before we got into this thing. And that's the biggest thing they're telling you. You can't say nothing about it. Even though you know it's wickedness right in your face. And these cats is going along with it. Man, it's sickening.
Let's get back to these prohibitions. Let's drop 12 on them. Now this right here, if you are serious about the Most High, you serious about our people, this right here should strike a chord if you are contemplating getting this thing right here.